Hey everybody, welcome back to Games with Bastuardo. I am, of course, Bastuardo, and you can call me Basil. We're here talking about decks, and more specifically, the Bravos starter deck that I mentioned in my introduction video. I just wanted to kind of go over the deck and my thoughts for any other people who might be new like myself, right? Without further ado, let's just get into it. So with the Bravo starter deck, the very first thing that's going to jump out is the Sun Wukong rare. I love this card so much. I gain 2 boosts and lose fleeting, and that's when played from reserve. So this card comes out of your reserve, back into your reserve, out of your reserve, back. It's fantastic. Sadly, you only get one, so chances are you're going to end up losing that to card removal at some point. That's where it'd be really nice to pick up a second or even a third rare of the Sun Wukong just to kind of balance that right out. Um, Other than Sun Wukong, I mean, there's not really like any other really super exciting. Kojo and Buddha, that's kind of the big excitement other than at noon, if you're the first player, create a Buddha 2/2/2 companion token in your companion expedition. It's great on that turn where you're getting the Buddha token, but I mean, on the turns where you're not, it would just be nice to have an ability that was actually triggerable. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm kind of new, but that definitely feels a little underwhelming when you compare it to some of the other heroes, and we'll look at those next here. But moving on into the Bravo starter deck, another problem is kind of the lack of monuments. All you get is this spindle. So characters you control are tough too. Opponents must pay 2 to target them. Cards in reserve are not controlled. So there you go. I mean, your Sun Wukong has no protection. And this card is essentially useless. Now, if it did protect the Sun Wukong, I would totally understand, why. Because then he's in reserve. You haven't got a chance to play him yet. At least you've got that 2 padding to kind of put. But nope, it doesn't even apply. So I'm not really even absolutely sure what this. There are other monuments that definitely would have been a better fit. So, but hey, I mean, they don't want to throw you anything too powerful right out of the gate in the starter deck. Uh, you know, I hate the spindle tree. I mean, I like it in terms of a lore standpoint. If we pull it from a pack, we'll get into that. This isn't about lore right now, but yeah, I'm very disappointed in the lack of monuments in the starter deck. That was definitely underwhelming. And then beyond that, I mean, what else really stood out to me? I don't really think there was too much else that, I mean, you've got things like your Bravos Tracer here, not super exciting. Like, play from hand, I gain fleeting. Uh, and you've got to kind of play around that. And, eh, eh, neat card. But I think we'll pull some real fire. Once we get into the actual daily pulls, I'm very, very excited for what we're going to pull out of those packs and actually get to tune that deck up. So let's just pop back over here and we'll have a look at the modifications I have made. Because like I said, I opened about 4 or 5 packs. So uh, what I've added to the deck, I've got 2 Mulans in here. And this giant space whale thing, which I added those for mana. So just that way, I've got 2 cards. Mulan could be handy. Oh, whoops, sorry. Mulan could be handy. I mean, she's 3 cost, but she's a 1/3/3. So, I mean, it's not terrible. I don't know. She does, from reserve, she loses fleeting. Or, I don't know. That's kind of good, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Eh, she's definitely mana fuel, though. Her and Isenbushi, they both just kind of. You can keep him around. The next character you play this turn gains 1 boost. I mean, for 1 mana, it's not a bad little character, right? So I'd rather play Mulan than play him. And then, let's see, was there. I added the Mulan. Oh, yeah, right. I did score myself one rare Haven Bouncer. It's not a huge deal, but she gains 2 boosts when played from reserve, as well as getting that Sabotage from hand. And I just love the full art. That looks really nice. So I haven't tuned it that much. Like I said, I'm still rocking that spindle. So hopefully we can pull some real decent cards here and actually tune this deck a little before we do any actual gameplay or anything with it. So I'm really, really optimistic that after the first week, this deck should look a little more playable. I'd really like to get one of the other heroes, though. Let's just filter this real quick here. And get in base. Where are they? There they are. Basira and Kaiserman. When a character you control gains 1 or more boosts, you may exhaust me to give target character 1 boost, right? So I like that because you have a bit more control. Anytime your character is gaining a boost, you may exhaust to give a target character 1 boost. I mean, that just feels more impactful to me than Buddha because you have that ability to sort of trigger it every turn. And then, of course, where's that other fella? The Atsadi and Surge. I just want to grab his flavored text, but of course he's not. Here, we'll just search for him. There we go. Alright, so yeah, I begin the game with 5 heroism counters. When you play a character with hand cost greater than or equal to by number of heroism counters, draw a card and I gain 1 heroism counter. So I mean, it kind of seems a little underwhelming, but I think with cards like the Mighty Djinn and Tiny Djinn, I think you could pump up your mana kind of ahead of time, right? Like, because we've got this little 1 cost, and if I would leave the expedition zone while I'm boosted, put me in my owner's mana zone instead, as an exhausted mana orb, of course. And then when you're playing him from reserve, he gains 1 boost. So you play him from reserve, he gains the 1 boost, and then he leaves the battlefield with the fleeting, right? So that would be a mana orb. So, I mean, you could kind of pump your mana up, I think, with that. I don't really know. Like I said, I'm still very new, but it feels to me like Mighty Djinn and Tiny Djinn, because again, with Mighty Djinn, if I would leave the expedition zone, you may put me in my owner's mana zone instead, as an exhausted mana orb, of course. So, playing those, I feel like you could pump your mana a little bit faster. And you've even got a card draw engine if you happen to be using the rare version of the Mighty Djinn. So, there you go. I think maybe Atsadi and Surge could benefit from those cards and like be playable with those, but like without them, I just don't know that that's doable. But we will find out. I do really hope that that we do pull a different hero because I'm just a little bit tired of the Kojo and Buddha. It would be nice to kind of try out some of the other Bravos heroes. So until then, you guys have a good evening. Thank you again for your time. And again, like and subscribe if you want to be notified about those opening videos when they go live. And until then, Vastwardo out.